What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. I feel like I'm in Vegas for a long time out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So what up to my friends and family that's out here in the building? Let me give an early shout out to my dog Ash that's always holding me down. Says, good morning, AD. Salute to you, brother. Keep doing the Lord's work. Good morning to everyone in the chat. God bless you and your families. You see how great and how supportive the people that continue to rock over here with Anton from AntonDaniels.com is. Shout out to Ash. Shout out to the Bag Chaser. Shout out to Chelsea's Live Line. Shout out to Randy K. Shout out to Bears Jackson. Shout out to Kojak. Shout out to Q. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to every single person that continues to support the platform because you guys are absolutely awesome. Shall we get the housekeeping out of the way? Make sure you hit a like or a dislike for the YouTube algorithm. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. In addition to that, make sure you guys continue to hold it down when it comes to supporting one another, showing each other love. If you have not already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We do this every single morning, Monday through Friday. We make sure that we add value. We don't miss. We hold you guys down. We hold you up in prayer. And we're going to keep holding each other accountable because we are equal accountability partners. But we got a phenomenal show lined up for y'all today. An absolutely awesome show lined up for y'all today. So, again, make sure you tune in. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. And we're going to do the work. If you have not subscribed to the Patreon, let me just give you a little bit of insight on what's in there. A group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. All of the uncensored exclusive interviews that I've done, every last one of them, including ones that's not even released yet. In addition to that, we also have webinars, mastermind sessions, and videos that help you level up and get to the bag in every aspect of your life, including videos that show you specifically how I leverage my talents and resources in order to make over $1,000,000 a year, how it is that you can make a significant amount of money, doubling and tripling in your income, the 8 things that I look for when I'm looking to invest in companies, how to interview like a king and making sure that you land that position every single time. I'm also putting in their resume templates of exactly what I showed you in the last video when I was giving you the game on a simple way a C student like myself can leverage different people within the community that also helps me to make over $500,000 while they get into the bag too. So if you know, you know. If you're a part of the bag chasers, you know that I don't get money by myself. And thank you for the super chats. I'm gonna be reading the super chat shortly. I don't get money by myself. I add value into other people's lives, and I make sure that they get money along with me. So shout out to the bag chasers. Shout out to the Patreon members. We're also doing a Patreon exclusive meetup. I'll be updating the venue within the Patreon very shortly. And I just love adding value into your lives. So thank you for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for allowing me to add value into your life as you add value into my life also. But we are in Vegas. We having a good time. Let me give a shout out also to Elliot Jackson. Elliot Jackson says, top of the morning, AD, how would you go about the process of determining whether or not you have a good enough content to make a YouTube channel or not? Been thinking about it, but I'm having trouble doing it. You're never going to have good enough content in your mind to start a channel or to become a content creator. I think the most important thing is not necessarily whether or not you got good enough content, but to continue to mine out and participate and be willing to grow along with your audience. One of the things that me and Kevin Samuels used to talk about on a regular basis was the fact that we left up all of our old content. Kev left up all of his old YouTube content. I leave up all of my first videos. And they're incredibly cringe. Like, those videos are not awesome when you look at what we've evolved into. But when you mining out your talent and you're mining out the lane that you're carving for yourself, that ultimately leads to what you're going to be successful doing, you don't know what it is, right? You don't have to necessarily talk about relationships. You don't have to necessarily be on panels. You don't have to necessarily talk about money, right? You don't have to duplicate what you see other people doing, but what you do is you mine out what your talent is, what your lane is, because there's almost 9 billion people on this earth. And so there is an audience that is specifically designated for you or you will resonate with, and you're going to grow. You're going to evolve. Worst case scenario, you're more effective in your communication because one of the things that I tell people that I coach, depending on what we're talking about, is that it's important for you to record yourself and rewatch yourself, even if you're just doing it as a daily journal on a regular basis, because then what happens is you learn all of the ways in which you're not communicating effectively. You get rid of the uhs and the ands and the does. Um, you learn how, you often at times, most people don't like the way that they sound on camera. So there's a bevy of different benefits that come along with creating a channel, listening to yourself record. But I'm not going to give you all of the sauce because you gave me a super chat, so I do appreciate you. I didn't ask for it, but I got to add value. But it's a lot of things that come along with content creation that you can benefit from, not just from creating a channel or trying to get big on YouTube. So I think you should create a channel and lean into the thing that you're most passionate about, and then your purpose will find you through the work. All right. I appreciate everybody that continues to rock with me. Let's get started with the show, and I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. So thank you to everybody that supports the platform. We riding down Las Vegas Boulevard. We go to Fremont Street yesterday, my wife and I. I'm looking forward to catching a flight back home this afternoon. So I've been up since 2:30 a.m. making sure that all of the work is done, working with my people, because you know that I'm 3 hours behind here on Pacific. So it was 5:30 a.m., in which 5:30 is actually me waking up a little bit late. But I'm up at 2:30 a.m. Vegas time, and so I've been up all this time for the last 5 hours grinding, hustling, working, putting things in perspective on meetings for corporate America and so on and so forth. But Rita and I, we doing Las Vegas Boulevard. We went to the Wynn yesterday in order to have the buffet. I've actually never done a Vegas buffet of all of the different times that I've been here. Not that I remember. Have I ever done a Vegas buffet? My first Vegas buffet. But I wanted to make sure that Rita had a great time, right? And I made sure that Rita got a 2-hour massage yesterday. Made sure that she went shopping. Made sure that she was pampered. Took her over to the buffet. We actually rented a car yesterday because we wanted to take a drive out to the Red Rock Conservation to be able to see the desert rocks and things like that. And so a lot of the things that we wind up doing is off the strip here in Vegas. In addition to that, we've been able to observe a lot of the behaviors of the people that surround us, right? Whether they at the tables, whether they walking down the strip. We've seen people get into it with each other. We've seen guys begging for money that look able-bodied and they young. They could be no more older than 30 years old, but they standing out there begging for money, dope fiends, all kind of stuff, right? You're going to see a lot of stuff in Vegas if you've never been here before, but I encourage you to come. Just don't bring more than you're willing to lose, okay? Last night, we sitting here, and I'm recording for the vlog that I'm dropping this week because I do a lot of long form content now that I drop it at the end of the week, and it usually be about an hour long or so. For those of you that are subscribed to the Anton Daniels channel, I dropped a video that detailed the Usher concert and everything like that. And then we going over to the Dominican Republic later on this week. And so we sitting there and I'm reading through, and let me actually show you one of the gifts. Rita, where's the liquor? Can you bring that to me, please, babe? We reading through, and somebody actually dropped a gift off of me that lives here in Las Vegas. And they were saying thank you, and the bellhops was holding us down, and everybody at the front desk takes really good care of us. And, you know, we got the loft here at the Vidara, and, you know, we get the red carpet treatment everywhere that we go, not just with Vegas, but everywhere, right? But here's the thing, and thank you, Jaquel. I'm definitely going to be reading Super Chats throughout the show. Here's the thing. So we sitting there, and then my wife says, do you remember what you said to me last night? You don't remember what you said to me last night? You said thank you. She says, thank you. And I said, what are you saying thank you for? And she says it multiple times throughout the day when we was riding in the car and we had the drop topped. The top dropped. And, you know, we were riding in that pretty sweet foreign exotic thing. And she would say thank you. And then when we were sitting at the buffet at the Wynn, she said thank you, right? And she just thanks me all throughout the day. And sometimes I just say, you welcome or whatever, because I know exactly what she's referring to. But it could just be random. She'll just be like, oh my God, just thank you for just being a good man. Thank you for taking care of me and Leslie. I've never experienced this before, or I could have never imagined this. And she truly lives in a moment, right? And she'll say stuff like, I could never imagine when I was growing up, being raised in a household that I was raised in, that, you know, I would be living this life and my mother would be taken care of. Because, you know, she just never expected for it growing up in Detroit, inner city of Detroit. And anybody that knows about Detroit, if you know about Joy Road, you know what's happening, right? And then when we observe different things from different people, other couples, not just black couples, but all across the board, we really take it in, right? When we went and drove out to the desert rocks, and follow me here, just roll with me for a second. When we drove out to these desert rocks, we also took an opportunity to drive through different neighborhoods. We went down different streets. We always try to catch the bus, and we try to immerse ourselves in places that's not tourist destinations or designed for people that are coming into town to be entertained. And so we get to see how people are really living, the good, the bad, all of that, right? Here's the message that I want to leave you with this morning before we get started with the show. If you are a true high value man, right? If you are a dude that stands on your square, if you are a guy that holds your family down, if you are a person that does the right thing, if you are a person that makes a lot of money and you're doing it the right way, you're not doing it illegally, if you are a person that takes care of your business, if you are a pillar of the people that you surround yourself with, if you give other people opportunities, if you are a good dude, and this is for my fellas, right? I'm going to shout y'all out real quick. You are invaluable. It doesn't matter what people say. It don't matter how they feel about you. It don't matter if you run into all of the strags and the issues and the problems and the people that's complaining that's not actually part of anything good or a solution. I'm going to just tell you, we winning. There is nothing, not one thing, not a child, not a woman, not an old person, not the president of the United States that's currently in office today, that is more valuable than a good man. Let me just re-emphasize this to you. If you are a great man, and it doesn't matter if you're married, don't matter if you're single, don't matter where you are in life, don't matter if you're black, white, Asian, whatever. If you are a real one, if you a great man, and I'm not saying this in order to encourage you in order to continue to take care of your family, because that's your reasonable service. I don't expect praise for taking care of my daughter. I brought her into this world involuntarily. That's my reasonable service. I don't expect praise for going to work every day and providing for the person that I got under me as far as my wife and my kid. That's my reasonable service. I don't expect praise for making sure that the people that work for me's paycheck is there for them every single week. If they exchange their time in order to continue to add value into what it is that we build in from a business perspective, that's my reasonable service. But what I'm telling you is that the dudes that separate themselves and go above and beyond and take care of business and you winning, there will never be a shortage of women. There will never be a shortage of money. There will never be a shortage of opportunity. You have the world at your feet. And I think that a lot of guys don't truly understand. They don't understand that you keep subjecting yourself to the worst versions of us, including your friends, your family, and the women that you deal with on a regular basis, because you don't really understand that deep down within you, once you shed this BS skin that you got as far as continuing to run in the victim Olympics, thinking that you got to wait for the government to give you something, running in the oppression Olympics, surrounding yourself with people that don't add value into your life, you deep down under all of that, you're really a king. Now, that's not for everybody. Every guy not a king. Every guy don't have it in him. But I would like to think that the people that subscribe to my channel and the people that watch my content and the people that are a part of the Bag Chasers and rock with me have something else in them because they've identified something in me that resonate with them and we can relate, which is one of the reasons why I tell people that start different channels and stuff, don't worry about being popular, worry about finding a tribe. I'd like to think that the people that watch my content on a regular basis, even if you don't like me, because you're sticking around for some reason or another, right? I'd like to think that you know that you one of them ones. You one of the ones. You one of the people that's just different. You knew it the day that you was born. You knew it the time that you gained some form of consciousness. In school, and we like to deny this, we like to suppress our greatness as men a lot of times in order to fit in because we too afraid of getting teased. We too afraid of being called a square. Oh, you too smart to hang around us. Yes, I am. A lot of people say, Anton, you arrogant. Call it what you want. Oh, you think you better than us? Oh, absolutely I'm better than you. What makes you better than us? Because I make better decisions than you do. That's what makes me better. It's not that I'm just inherently better than you. It's that I've taken what God has given me and I've multiplied it. And I've been a good nurturer of the people that he's allowed for me to take care of. And I've been a good steward of my wife. I've been a good steward of my daughter and the blessings, right? I've been a good steward of my money. I've been a good steward of my resources. I've been a good steward of taking care of and adding value into my bag chasers and the people that surround me. And everybody ain't got it. But often at times what happened with men is that we suppress the thing that's great about us in order to fit in order to go along to get along, in order to just get our nut off, in order to make a couple dollars short term, missing a long term vision of what God got for you. And you don't really understand your greatness because you've been suppressing it so long that you've reprogrammed yourself in your mind subconsciously to think that you don't deserve greatness because you're not willing to go out and get it. And you so busy working and waiting and looking for somebody to save you. And you don't even know that you the savior. You the person that's supposed to be somebody else's hand to pull them up out of the mire. But you're so busy working on things that don't add value into your life. And every single day, I give my all into this fucking live stream in order to try to convince you, in order to try to unlock something in you, to help you to understand what your father didn't teach you because he wasn't in your life. And so I have to then have this conversation with you on a regular basis. And I give my all, and I run into you motherfuckers in person, and I talk to you on coaching calls, and I jump on this live stream, and I try to add value into your life, and I try to be a reflection of the thing. That's why I'm open in my life so much out to you. That's why I share so much of my life to you. It ain't for me. I'm living it. I know what my life is like. It's for you to see that it's possible that a person that is a C student and everything that you have, you better than me. You taller than me, you smarter than me, you better looking than me, you got a better opportunity than me, right? You faster than me, you younger than me, and you got me as a mentor in order to give you the game on how it is that you can avoid all of the mistakes that I made along the way in order to exponentially grow faster than me, and you not beating me. And that's a travesty. And the reason why I show this and how average I really am, but yet I have extraordinary results, is I want to show you what you missing and that you can be 10 times better than me if you then leverage what it is that you have and the real gifts and the insight and what God gave you. You got something in you that you just ain't unlocked yet, and you so worried about what everybody fucking think that you can't really go and get yours. The way that I got mine is I stopped caring about what everybody else thought in order to really get what it is that God had for me. Whatever it is that God got for you, it ain't in the hands of somebody else. It ain't in the hands of somebody that can then give you some reparations. Biden can't fucking help you what God got for you. He ain't giving it to you through Biden. It ain't gonna come through no student loan forgiveness. It ain't gonna come through no fucking reparation. It ain't gonna come through your college professor. It ain't gonna come through your mama. It ain't gonna come through that girl that you just came in. It ain't gonna come through your kids. That ain't your legacy. They got their own life to live, and it ain't got nothing to do with you. Everything that you're supposed to be is gonna come through something else. And you already got it in you because God gave it to you the minute that you was born. And everything that you went through in your life, it wasn't because it was a problem. It was because it was something that you had to go through in order to get to the space that you're supposed to be in to help somebody else. But you're so busy worried about what everybody else think that you can't really become the person that you're supposed to be. And you're going to waste it. You're going to blow it. And that's the real travesty. The real travesty is that you had everything and this person ain't have nothing, and they could have used it and they would have took care of it, but you wasted it because you thought that you was better than everybody else just because you was born with it and you didn't work for it. Jordan didn't become Jordan because he was just talented. He became Jordan because he outworked everybody else in practice. Kobe didn't become Kobe because he was just better than everybody else. He took what God gave him and then he worked hard as fuck to continue to become the best version of himself. He leaned on the lessons of the people that came before him, like the Jordans, in order to then make himself even greater than he would have been by himself. You got everything that you need. Everything that you need. You got the history that people didn't have before you. Your ancestors went through it so that you wouldn't have to do it, and you still suffering harder than they did before they had to actually go through it. Because you ain't going to be the man that you supposed to be. And everybody around you going to suffer for it. It's just like the person that's a drunk driver. The drunk driver never dies. It's the person that they run into. It's the passenger that's in the car with them. The drunk driver never dies. They don't have no fucking seatbelt on. They inebriated. They don't even know what the fuck happened last night. You a drunk driver. They never die. It's the single mama. It's the person that's in the car with them. The guy in the back seat, he went through the windshield. Everybody else dies. Everybody else catches the shrapnel of what it was that you wasn't supposed to be because you got a calling on your life and you won't actually live it. Stand the fuck up. Pick your balls up, dog. Do something. Grow the fuck up. Put the remote controller down for 5 minutes so that you can actually learn and hear what God has for you. Get up in the morning and brush your fucking teeth and then get before God on your knees and ask him, what is it that you want for me to do? And when you pray next time, the next time that you pray, because I know you ain't prayed in a long time, but the next time that you talk to God, stop begging and asking him for stuff and then start being appreciative and then ask him what it is that he wants you to do so that you can then become on your purpose and become the man that you're supposed to be. I promise you it's going to be life-changing. I promise you if you stick with it long enough, stick with it for 3 months, then 6 months and a year, and I bet you, year over year, your life is going to be completely different and everybody around you is going to change. I promise you. Let's get on our grind. Let's evolve. Let's grow. Let's become the people that we're supposed to be so that we can actually put other people in position to win. You can't help nobody until you help yourself. Get off these fucking panels talking about what people are supposed to do and fill your own cup up. Be selfish before you can be selfless because two broke people can't help nobody. They just keep each other broke. That's a fact. Two broke people can't help nobody. Y'all be at these networking events. All people that go to networking events be networking, trying to find an opportunity, and everybody that got the opportunities ain't at the networking events. I don't know what I'm going to say before I get on these platforms, honestly. I got to go through and make sure I read all of the super chats for the people that held me down. Honestly, I have no clue what I'm going to say before I get on these platforms. I don't plan it. I don't say it. I just pray. And I say, God, whatever it is that the people are supposed to get today, I pray that you use me effectively for it. That's it. That's it. Let's see. Jaquel is in the building, says greetings and blessings, Anton and the Bag Chaser. Shout out to Jaquel. My dog Cliff says, preach, big bro. I appreciate you, Cliff. Self-made forever. Says, oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Self-made forever says, preach, Bishop, that sermon today. I don't know what's going to happen. I just be coming on here kicking it. Cliff Williams says, it's funny how when the Bible says be fruitful and multiply, people think that only refers to having kids. You are so accurate, bro. You're right, big bro. This ain't for everybody. And everybody not supposed to catch it. Everybody is not supposed to catch it. That's what people don't understand. It's not for everybody. Just because somebody dislike you on the internet or somebody hit the dislike button, that don't mean that that's for them. That means that you're separating yourself from them in order to then find the people that's supposed to be going in the direction that you're going. If somebody says, oh, I ain't fucking with you no more because, I don't like what you said or something, that's something to be thankful for. That's something that you're supposed to praise God for, right? Because then you got the snakes out of your circle in order to really continue to go on your journey. I don't get mad at God when people fall away from me. I appreciate him because I know that he's taken away from me the people that's hindering me from the blessings that he has for me on the other side of my growth. I love it. I love it when God separate me from people or reveal what it is that I'm supposed to do through the issues and the problems that we experience on a day-to-day basis. Mr. Hightower Jr. says, God bless you. Talking to my soul. Thank you. Appreciate you, dog. AP says, I hope that you guys are listening to this message. I wish I had someone to tell me these things at 22. Keep speaking it, big dog. Much love, Tom. Thank you, accountability partner. You always been rocking with me. Ash is in the buildings with the 10 ball, says, AD reading my mail. I have never followed the crowd, always swam upstream, did not always fit in. Sometimes the journey was alone. Today, I am a success. And it's a common thread amongst people that are successful. It's the same thing. We got the same story, big dog. Self-made forever says, that's the word of a drunk driver. Rarely ever dies. That's deep. Lil Black Duck 2001 says, Anton out here giving rocky motivational speeches. All your heart, all your soul, all your love, no pain. Much love to you and the Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Prince Amir says, let me pay my task because Pastor Daniels on here preaching the good news. Thank you for the 10 ball. I do not ask for y'all to contribute a super chat, but when you do, I have to appreciate you because you didn't have to. So David Mosby says, big bro Anton, thanks. Thank God was talking through you to me. Thank you, my friend. Jaquel says, my brother, Passion of Christ. They don't want me to love God. They don't. Oh, let me also give a shout out to, and I can't open this because I'm gonna leave this in here so that I can travel and take it home. But shout out to, let me read this. Mr. Trust Me Vegas. At Mr. Trust Me Vegas. Y'all can follow him on at Mr. Trust Me Vegas. And this is his series. They actually dropped this off to my hotel, and then the people at the hotel brought it up to me to make sure that I have it. So let me just add this, show this. It's Trust Me Vodka, right? You can follow them on social media. It's Trust Me Vodka. They have all of the different flavors. It actually looks pretty incredible. And then they dropped off a joint to me. So it's the Trust Me Vodka. This is the only vodka that we're going to be sipping on down here in over in Detroit. Look at the alcohol volume in this joint. And it's gluten-free, ultra premium. Got the Trust Me Vodka. So thank you for holding me down, Trust Me. And bringing this to my hotel and for the people at the Badar, ensuring that I got it. So thank you. Let's get started into the show. Again, I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Hopefully you get a lot. You say what, baby? Oh, no. I forgot about that. Oh, you got a fun fact for me? A fun fact? What's the fun fact? Why don't drunk drivers die?
Because when you have alcohol in your system, your body is more relaxed. And when people get into accidents and they see it coming, they tend to tense up. That makes you get injured worse.
Rita said one of the reasons why drunk drivers, and I believe it, Rita said one of the reasons why drunk drivers often at times survive when everybody else dies is because they're more relaxed. Especially when certain things happen, like trauma events. And these are masks. Oh, snaps. Shout out to you, Trust Me Vodka. I appreciate you. Shout out to my people. And she said what happens is when you get into certain situations, often at times you get tense. What's the rest of it, Rita? I can't communicate it as well as she can.
Sober.
When you sober,
see an accident coming,
you tense up.
Is to tense.
Okay.
Whereas if you drunk,
you're relaxed.
And you're just gonna be more relaxed, and that causes less injury.
Yeah, that causes less injury when you're relaxed. Yeah, I feel that. Let's see what else we got here before we get started. Shout out to Levi Apparel. Says Anton said, when you make it, they follow. Success. Shout out to Levi Apparel. Chike Auto LLC says, thank you for loving your wife and daughter unconditionally, representing from the East Side, Nigeria. Shout out to my Nigerians in the building. Grand T says, everyone need to hear this. Shout out to you for the fat ball over in Canada. I appreciate you. Lockhart Perspective in the building says, watching you grow in grace is awesome. God bless you, Rita, and the family. I love how y'all show me love and then y'all also say God bless Rita and all of that because you understand that she's an extension of me. So when y'all run into her and things like that. Oh, also, let me give one more shout out before we get started with the show. Shout out to the Saint and Center. Shout out to the Saint and Center. I actually ran into the Saint Center yesterday at the Wynn. Really cool dude. We had a conversation. We chopped it up. It was just in person. I seen him. And let me tell you how humble I am, right? I seen the Saint and Center across the way, and I noticed him immediately because I am familiar with his content. And I was like, hey, let me go and chop it up with the Saint Center. So I walked up. He was like, oh, what's going on? So he knew who I was. I knew who he was. We chopped it up. We shook hands. Apparently he's here in Vegas, and so I introduced him to my wife. Real cool dude, gentleman. Great demeanor, humble guy. Shout out to the Saint Center. I got to give you some love. I told Rita that I had to make sure that I said that out loud. But shout out to you. We exchanged information, and we may be working with each other in the future. So shout out to the Saint Center. I did want to acknowledge him because I did run into him yesterday. Nick T says, reason they're not prosecuting Shanquella case because there was a transgender involved. They don't want the narrative out there of violent trans. Nick T. We gonna keep watching that. I heard that I got something in store for y'all coming soon. So a lot of people will say, oh, not this or that. I see Ray Meester in there. I only go by my real life experience when I meet them. If I meet somebody and they show me that they cool people, I'm gonna show them love. We don't always agree. Everybody don't agree on every single thing. But if he showed me respect, he showed me love, shook my hand, I show him respect, I show him love, and I'm gonna shake his hand. So shout out to the Saint Center. Let's get it started. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the show. First thing that I want to do is I want to address this case right here. All right. So this obviously came across my desk, and I want to address it because I think that it's important for us to have this conversation on both sides, not just holding each other accountable on one end, but also holding ourselves accountable on the other end also. All right? Let me go ahead and play this, and then we're going to go ahead and react to it.
The 84-year-old man accused of shooting a black teenager who went to the wrong house surrendered to police in Kansas City, Missouri Tuesday. 16-year-old Ralph Yarl was trying to pick up his twin brothers from a friend's house, but went to the wrong address. His mother spoke with Gail King on CBS Mornings.
He was supposed to stay outside, and his brothers were supposed to run outside, get in the car, and they come home. And that was what was supposed to happen. And while he was standing there, his brothers didn't run outside, but he got a couple of bullets in his body instead of a couple of twins coming out and giving him a hug.
The suspect, Andrew Lester, bonded out of jail after being processed on 2 felony charges. Civil rights leaders are calling for hate crimes to be added to the list. Adriana Diaz has more from Kansas City.
So apparently, for those of you that are not familiar, apparently what's going on is the 16-year-old, and this is one of the reasons why we pray for our children as they go to and from, because there's so many things that's outside of our hands that we can't control. Even the Bible said it rains on the just and the unjust, meaning that life happens and there's things that you just cannot control as a parent. But when you let your children go out, you try to teach them the right way. It's stuff that just happens that you just can't even control, that they didn't even find themselves in. You know, he didn't do anything wrong, right? And so he went to go pick up his younger brothers. Apparently he waited for them to come out, but he was at the wrong house. And next thing you know, he got a couple bullets in him from an 84-year-old. But let's continue. Let's get the whole story before we react to it.
Today, Ralph Yarl's classmates marched in solidarity and support. Ralph's mother, Cleo Nagby, says her son is recovering from being shot in the head and arm.
That's sad. I could not imagine, not even a little bit, I could not imagine sending my son or my daughter out to go and pick up they twin brothers or sisters or whatever it is, and then having to go and meet them inside of the hospital looking like this. I could not imagine. Not in a million years could I ever imagine. You just don't wake up and think that type of stuff is going to happen to you specifically. But let's continue.
Mostly he just sits there and stares, and the buckets of tears just rolls down his eyes. You can see that he's just replaying the situation over and over again.
Andrew Lester faces 2 felony counts, armed criminal action and first-degree assault.
So let's look at Andrew Lester. Let's take a look at him.
Andrew Lester faces 2 felony counts, armed criminal action and first.
All right, so his two felony counts are armed criminal action and first-degree assault. Armed criminal action, 2 felonies. That's it. Armed criminal action and first-degree assault. 84-year-old man got this kid in the hospital. Armed criminal action, first-degree assault. Now, before I break this down, I want to get the whole story so that I can better understand exactly what's happening, because I'm familiar with what's going on social media as far as the headlines, but this is actually the first time that I'm watching a video.
Degree assault. According to the criminal complaint, the 84-year-old told police he had just laid down in bed when he heard the doorbell. He picked up his gun and said he saw a black male approximately 6 feet tall at the door, telling detectives he was, quote, scared to death due to the male's size and Lester's old age. The complaint says Lester repeatedly expressed concern for the victim.
Ralph went to an address on this road. This is Northeast 115th Street, when in fact his little brothers were just a block down. You see that green street sign there? That's Northeast 115th Terrace, just about 100 yards away.
Ralph's family says as he was trying to get help, someone yelled at him to get on his knees and raise his hands.
So let me get this straight. He knocked on the door, and the dude immediately grabbed his gun. Now, one of the things that I know for sure, right, as we break this down, one of the things that I know for sure, because I just did a renewal for my CPL, which is a concealed pistols license, right? And they went through 1,000 different scenarios in which they broke down what you could be prosecuted for and what you had to let get away. So, for example, they said that if you look outside and you see somebody breaking in your car, if you go out there and you shoot them, then you are going to go down and you are going to be prosecuted as a result of it. They also gave another example, and they gave literally countless examples. And they said, listen, if somebody knocks at your door and you shoot through the door, you are going to jail, and you cannot just shoot somebody through the door without them entering your property and threatening your life. Having a gun is a responsibility. All right? Let me continue.
All we hear is a bunch of banging at our door.
In his first television interview, Zach Duvall, who lives across the street, says he and his mother went to help.
There was blood from where he was at, all the way up, all over the door.
Duvall says he is still replaying that night in his head.
You hear about these things on the news over time, and then when it really happens to you, it's a life changer.
When you have images of Ralph, what do you see?
I see fear.
You saw fear in his eyes.
I saw fear in his eyes.
And Adriana Diaz joins me now for more. Adriana, what else are we learning about Andrew Lester, if anything?
Well, John, the neighbor that we spoke to told us that Mr. Lester, seemed to keep to himself.
Look at the Pookie. Listen. I know this is supposed to be about the 16-year-old teen and the 84-year-old man, but listen, this is what women deal with on a regular basis. Look how fearful she is when this dude walked by and started eyeing her from the back, from the top to the bottom. This is what, this is crazy. Check this out. Hold on, check it out.
And the neighbor that we spoke to.
Look at my man. Look, you see her? You see that, Rita? That's crazy. Look. In real time, you niggas is crazy. Y'all are menaces. She on the news and it's a news camera right in front of her. Let the chick do her little segment. Check it out. Look. Check this out.
Well, John, the neighbor that we spoke to told us that Mr. Lester,
she moved up. You see
seemed
that?
to keep to himself. He hadn't seen him in the neighborhood, even though that.
Hey, you see her move up, Rita? Look. Check it out.
Well, John, the neighbor that we spoke to told us that Mr. Lester, seemed to keep to himself.
Christ. Who could have predicted that in this situation in which we're supposed to be talking about an 84-year-old and a 16-year-old, that Adriana Diaz is going to be fearful because it is Pookie that's walking with his hat tilted to the front looking like a Crip is eyeing her up and down while she's supposed to be having a conversation with the news crew. Man, get out of here. We're trying to find out what's going on. I got to play this again. This is so dumb. Look at this foolishness.
Well, John, the neighbor that we spoke to told us that Mr. Lester, seemed to keep to himself. He hadn't seen him in the neighborhood, even though that neighbor had just been there for about 6 months.
You can't make this up, Rita. You cannot predict this. You cannot make this up. When these clips are loaded onto my live stream in order for me to have this conversation, you cannot make this up. What the heck is going on out here in these streets? Right after we gave the King Talk speech, he eyeing the chick up and down. So it probably was like, what's up, shouty?
But one of the things that the family and the family's attorney is really focusing on is the fact that Andrew Lester was allowed to be free for the last 5 days for the most part. He was brought in for 2 hours and then released.
What they think, he gonna flee the country? An 84-year-old man is gonna flee the country? I don't know, man. Obviously, the dude is wrong as two left shoes. Obviously, he needs to do some jail time. But it ain't really going to matter because it's just going to be a symbolic victory because it's a strong possibility that the dude is going to die before he get out of jail. He didn't live his whole life. Let me tell you something about Andrew Lester. Andrew Lester has probably lived with a level of fear and racism against black people for his entire life. Andrew Lester is 84 years old, right? Let's just remove the 4 because, I like to do my mental math. Let's remove the 4, make it 3. So let's assume that he's 83 years old. It's 2023. We subtract that 23 from it. So in 2000, he was 60, which means that this man was born in 1940. He was born in 1939. If we add the 1, you see me doing my mental math. Math ain't bad. Y'all can figure it out. So this man is born in 1939. 1939 in the 30s. This man has probably programmed himself his entire life. He probably been waiting for this moment his entire life. This man lived through progress and segregation and the civil rights movement, and he's seen the growth of black people in affirmative action. I'm gonna just be honest with you. You don't pick up a gun and start blasting through the door because you've seen a black person. Let's be real. Let's just be 100% real. You don't just start blasting through the door. There's no way in hell that you can then justify this and say that I seen a tall black man that was at least 6 foot tall at my door, and you just start letting loose through the door. I'm not going for it. There's no way you're going to sell me on it. I tell y'all not to run in the victim Olympics, but then at the same time, we're not just going to excuse egregious behavior in order to justify it. Now, I know in a lot of instances, I like to hold people accountable for always tying it to race, but this is just absolutely undeniable. This is absolutely undeniable. And so you cannot sit here and justify to me in no way, shape, or form that a person that is knocking on the door and you just blast through the door and you can justify it as anything other than a form of fear and racism because you've never actually took the time to become a better version of yourself, to understand that there's other people that don't look like you that may be good just like you. There's no way in the world you're going to sit here and tell me that we can justify this.
We're told by the family attorney that in Missouri he could have been held for 24 hours, and that didn't happen. He was allowed to be released.
Oh, Jesus.
Then, no one knew where he was.
Nah, ain't nothing like getting them black folk. I don't really know what they think is going to happen. It's nothing like getting the people riled up. Oh, now we got to get our neighborhoods tore up. Hey, guys, nothing like tearing up our neighborhoods and rioting because we don't like the fact that he was released early.
Until today, when he did surrender and bonded out a short time later.
And Adriana, how is the family reacting to the specific charges that have been brought against him?
I asked that question exactly, John. I said, did you want...
Is he 5'6", 125? Chris Thomas? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Stronger charges? Did you want attempted murder charges? And the family told us that they're actually satisfied with the charges that were brought. The two charges are armed criminal action and first-degree assault. The mother of Ralph and his aunt spent time, along with their lawyer, with the prosecutor today to go over those charges, how the prosecutor came to that conclusion. And they told us that, after having that discussion with the prosecutor, they learned that there is no stronger sentence, that attempted murder wouldn't bring a stronger sentence than the charges that were actually brought, a maximum of life in prison. And so for that, they were satisfied that they're here and their focus is on a conviction and a sentencing upon.
So the parents are smart. You see when you start to remove the emotion in order to make a better decision. What the parents said was, listen, the actual additional charge that he could possibly get out of would probably hinder what it is that we got from the case instead of helping. And this man is going to die in jail once he get these charges anyway. Man, this man is going to be gone. Honestly, he lived his whole life. He lived 84 years on this earth, and now he's going to get 3 hots and a cot and free meals for the rest of his life. He's going to get 3 hots and a cot and free meals. He'll probably be dead before he ever touch a prison. He'll probably be dead before he ever touch a prison. But
punishment, and they're less concerned about trying to get an attempted murder charge. But one thing that I, want to clarify that Ralph's aunt told us this afternoon, she said, Ralph's height is 5'8", and in that criminal complaint, Mr. Lester said he was 6 feet tall, and that was part of why he said he.
Yeah, this is it's bad. It's absolutely egregious. There's no excuse for it. But unfortunately, in these type of situations, there won't be any justice. It won't be any justice. We can sit here, we can mind it out, we can get mad at it. Y'all can sit here and march for it and all of this other type of stuff. but there won't be any justice. And the reason why it won't be any justice is because he's 84 and he's already at the end of his life, so he's not really going to suffer from it. He was probably already suffering just being by himself, in which he found himself in a situation where he finally got it what he wanted. He probably finally got the thing he'd been dreaming of and the things he'd been talking about for his entire life. Somebody in the chat said this was his final test before going to hell. Maybe. But there won't be any justice. And I don't even know what justice looks like, because this man was at the end of his life and he tried to take a life of a 16-year-old. And there's nothing that you can say that can atone for it. I'm just thankful that the 16-year-old is still alive. And I'm also thankful for him having reasonable parents that's able to think through the situation in order to make a more informed decision. Shout out to the Pookie. This guy right here, hold on, let me see. Shout out to big homie that was walking past. Had to fuck up the whole stream.
Well, John, the neighbor that we spoke to
Shout out
told us
to
that
him.
Mr. Lester, seemed to keep to himself. He hadn't seen him.
And she kept it professional. And the camera kept following her, too. She kept it 100% professional. One more time for the Pookies in the building. Look at her. That's the scene right there. That's the scene right there. Look at him. We see this type of guy every single day. Every single day. They be typing hard in the chat. They be getting mad at me saying that we need to stay on code.
That we spoke to told us that Mr. Lester,
She stepped in front of me.
seemed to keep to himself. He hadn't.
See that? Shout out to you. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're gonna continue with the show. Chester Williams says, because the old man could have asked, why are you here? To figure out what's going on. Man, this guy has been dreaming of this every single day. He been trying to dream of using that gun for a long time, and he finally got his shot, bro. Donnie Smith says, Pookies are everywhere, even in Kansas City. Good morning, Anton. Working on myself here in Kansas. Shout out to Donnie Smith. Shout out to all of the new bag chasers in the page. Can we get a round of applause for the new Patreon members and the bag chasers? Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Thank you guys for the super chats. Let's continue. Now, I have a feeling that this is something that I'm going to be mining through for an extended period of time. Chicago, it's your turn, motherfuckers. It's your turn, Chicago. Yeah, we've been letting y'all get away with fucking up the economy and the American system and messing up the votes and taking the lives of people and black people and beating up people unreasonably and messing up this good old American city, and we can't even walk down the Miracle Mile anymore. It's your turn, Chicago.
It was just absolutely random. We didn't know anybody. We were just trying to walk through a group of people.
Caught up in a mob, 2 out-of-towners sharing their story after being beaten by teens downtown on Saturday.
A key part of the story, the Good Samaritan who stepped in to help.
Anthony Pause is live with more tonight. Anthony?
Yes, Corey, and on this attack happened here on the 100 block of North Wabash Avenue Saturday night. It could have ended way worse had it not been for the intervention of a truly good Samaritan who says that the video of this attack that went viral over the weekend really only captures the tail end of what she describes as an absolutely brutal attack. Though.
Hey, watch your back. Watch your back, homie. You got a man that's walking past you that just so happened to be a different hue than you. Watch your back, newsman. I hope the cameraman got that blicky on him.
Victims here, a couple visiting from out of town. They're in their early 20s, staying in an Airbnb. They were out to dinner, just trying to enjoy their night.
We were just downtown in Chicago trying to shop, trying to get some food.
Uh-oh. Not a man that's talking to a white woman. Now, you a target. First of all, hold on, let me rewind it, because I know he got good hair. And you know, we don't like it when they dating out and they got good hair. Nope, you a target, big dog. In Chicago, where they got that ooh-wop shebang. Ooh-wee. You got Kevin with the good hair, and you got Annie talking to a woman that's not of the same pigmentation. You can forget it, bro. You are a target, my sir.
We were just downtown in Chicago trying to shop, you know, trying to get some food. And we were
DJ and
walking
Ashley
down the street.
Listen, anytime you're talking to a chick named Ashley and you see a bunch of young black teens walking down the street, just turn around and go the other way. You might as well just start running. Big dog.
And there was a really big group of guys, a really big group of people.
And girls.
Yeah, guys and girls. And
He had no situational awareness. At all. Dr. Umar Johnson would have gave him 1,000 lashes for this.
you know, DJ had my hand and he was trying to lead me through the crowd of people. And they pushed him, they pushed me. And
now, why would DJ try to lead you through a crowd of people? Why would DJ, why would DJ try to lead this white woman through a crowd of people expecting for nothing to happen and for the people to respect DJ?
And as soon as they pushed me, I told DJ, I said, hey, you know, they just shoved me.
The mob attack happened right near Macy's Wabash Street entrance.
And it was a mob of about 60 to 100 people.
You know, they said they're going to kill us. They turned around and, you know, started fighting, you know.
They were shoeless. They didn't have their, they were looking for their phones, but it was no point because the phones had been taken away.
Both the victims and Lenora Dennis, the woman who came to their aid, say that several Chicago police officers passed by but did not intervene.
Yeah, because the mayor and the mayor-elect be telling the police to stand down because we don't want these good teens to be held accountable for their position and their actions. Man, listen, when I'm talking about Chicago, we're gonna adjust this. I gotta put my Chicago gear on. What's the Chicago uniform? I'm about to show y'all the Chicago uniform. While this is playing, I'm about to put on my Chicago uniform.
Cops drove right by it. Act like they didn't see anything.
I literally went out into the street and stopped and held my hands up to a police car and asked them to stop and motioned them over to what was going on, and they just cut a path around me and just kept going.
Yeah, they got to get home.
She was eventually able to get the couple into her car, then she drove them to the police station.
Got told by the desk sergeant that this was going to happen. It was going to keep happening because Brandon Johnson got elected.
Woo! The desk sergeant said this is going to keep happening because Brandon Johnson got elected. Shout out to the people of Chicago participating in the Victim Olympics. I got my Chicago gear on. Hold on. I got my Chicago uniform on. Got to make sure that we get the full picture here. You know, they got to cover the top and the bottom. Shout out to Chicago. All you see is eyes. All right, we got our Chicago uniform on. We're gonna continue to do what we do, baby. I got my Chicago gear on. Hold on. Do I look like the old block dudes? Hold on, let me take this off. You know this Rolex is too rich for the Chicago guys.
That floored me.
An ambulance then took them to the hospital, but the couple was without their phones, wallets, and shoes, which had all been stolen during the attack.
I told the couple that I was going to go home to find them some shoes so that they wouldn't be barefoot for the rest of the night.
Her name is Lenore.
Wow. She gave us shoes, took us home, took us to the hospital.
Her husband as well.
Thank you.
Just do unto others. And that's a mantra that I live by every day, is just do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Here's the thing, though, ladies and gentlemen. As a adopted Chicagoan myself, now that I got the official uniform on, as an adopted Chicagoan myself, can you blame the police for walking away? I need a blicky. I need a blicky. I don't got no blicky. Just that I don't like. This that I don't like. Wow. Now we gotta tear everything up. Ah! This that I don't like. Ah! I don't like. Yeah. I don't like. Y'all said use the remote. We got a remote control in here? Hold on. Where's the blicky at? Let me go get my blicky. Hold on. Where is my blicky? Where's the blicky at? Give me everything. Give me everything. Oh, you gave me everything? You ain't got nothing else? All right. Shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. Oh, nah. Nah, I know Chicago dudes. Y'all like to have two blickies. This the phone.
Great to have you with us. I'm Joe Donlin.
And I'm Erica Sargent. We've seen the videos of the loop this past weekend, heard from police, experts, and elected leaders, but not parents. That changes now.
A CBS 2 exclusive. Our Sabrina Franza speaking one-on-one with the mother of one of the two teenagers shot.
All I need is some black Air Force Ones, and I'm going to have the official uniform now.
In all the chaos, she joins us now live in the loop. Sabrina?
Hold on. Y'all not going to act like... Hold on, it's too light out here. You know, in Chicago, it'd be dark. You know, in Chicago, it'd be dark out here in these streets. We got the blicky on. All right. Now we got the official Chicago uniform to make sure. All right, let's get back to the show. Got the official Chicago uniform on. Let's go.
Great to have you with us. I'm Joe Donlin.
And I'm Erica Sargent. We've seen the videos of the loop this past weekend, heard from police, experts, and elected leaders, but not parents. That changes now.
A CBS 2 exclusive. Our Sabrina Franza speaking one-on-one with the mother of one of the two teenagers shot in all the chaos.
Reading super chat short.
Live in the loop. Sabrina?
Well, this mother tells us she doesn't think her son did anything wrong. He's never given her a reason not to trust him. So when he asked if he could head downtown on a beautiful Saturday evening here in Chicago, she said yes.
Yes, we do. I know we have a 16-year-old that was shot.
One of my biggest fears is getting a call like that or even something worse.
This mom asked we keep her anonymous.
No, come on camera. No, ma'am. Come on camera. Come on camera. I want to see the irresponsible parents, because this is one of the things that y'all keep saying to me. Y'all said, Anton, where's all the parents at? Where's all of the parents at? A lot of people were saying, Anton, you in the desert with a hoodie? Yo, it be cold out here at night. Y'all don't be understanding. It's colder here than it be in Detroit sometimes. I want to see the parents come to the front of the congregation because, listen, we're going to hold the parents accountable.
Her son was shot Saturday twice.
I knew he was going down there with his friends. Why he was going down there, I had no clue. Had I known, he wouldn't have been down there.
She says she knew where he was going, but had
No, I'm not. I'm from O Block, boy.
no idea it was going to be this takeover.
All right, do we have a unit going to the hospital with the 16-year-old?
Had she known, she would have given her normal response.
Do I wish I had told him no like I usually tell him no? Yeah, but at the same time, how many times can I tell him no, you know?
What do you mean, how many times can you tell him no? You tell him no when you that's what happens when you're a parent. When you see imminent danger from your child, you tell them no, you can't go out to the streets late at night to go and fuck up a lot of stuff with a bunch of people that don't have your best interests at heart. This chick said, what am I supposed to do? Keep telling him no? Yeah. Get him some better hobbies. Get him in basketball, football. Let me tell y'all what the key is to parenting, all right? I'm going to tell you what the key is to parenting. My daughter don't find herself in stupid situations, and she's trained herself differently because I keep her busy around people that are being productive. She don't just be sitting at home playing games. She not just hanging out on the phone all day. She not doing none of that. We travel, we go places, we experience different cultures. She's supposed to be going to Nepal. We also go into the Dominican Republic. She stays in Taekwondo. She's busy. She's at Defy doing a trampoline park. She's busy all the time. So much so that when she get home, she be washed. All she want to do is take a shower, brush her teeth, and then get into bed. And she get up and she do it all over again. You keep them involved, busy, participating, seeing what's going on in society. You have to be a parent. You have to stop letting the system govern and teach your child what you're supposed to be putting into them yourself, which is one of the reasons why I say everybody can't have kids, right? You let your kid get indoctrinated 8 to 9 hours a day at school, and then you don't want to actually put any effort into ensuring that they then become productive members of society, and you just let their friends then govern them from the rest of the time, and then the police, and then you're going to be saying, oh, my baby ain't did nothing wrong. My baby was an angel.
Oh, no, you can't go outside. You can't do this. You can't go to the mall. Don't walk down the street. Don't ride the scooters. Don't ride your bike. Like, basically, don't enjoy the city that you...
That nigga's 16. He ain't just riding no bikes. He's stealing bikes. Allegedly, right? Look, when my daughter said, yo, such and such earlier in life, she would say, yo, such and such asked, can I come over her house? And we'd be like, who, that little girl? Hold on. Where's her parents at? We would meet her parents at some event or something like that, or see them in passing and stuff. Nope. Oh, mom, dad, why can't I go over her house? Because her mama smoke weed. She got 2 baby daddies that be in and out the crib. I'm sorry. I know that you like seeing your friend in school, but we just gonna leave him in school. And then what happens is eventually she'd be like, yeah, such and such is saying that her little daughter, the little girl that she was supposed to go hang out over her house at, her tooth is knocked out. What happened? Oh, the baby daddy got into it with the other baby daddy, and he swung and he hit her in the mouth or whatever. No. This is why I'm a parent. Is because we make decisions that's the best for the child, not the other way around. I'm not your friend right now. I'm your father. And I don't like that nigga. And I don't like her. And she for the streets. And she be having people in and out. And every time I see this chick, she smell like trees. Nope, you can't go over her house. As a matter of fact, we about to move to an entirely different neighborhood. And don't tell them where you live because I don't even want them to know. No, she can't come over our house because I don't want her parents to know where we live at either. She can't come over our house because I don't want her parents to know where we live at either. No. You cannot go over into the hood to hang out with little Tiffany.
You live in, go to school, come home, and yeah, that's all you can do. Like, what type of life is that?
On the idea that this was somehow a parent's fault.
Let's be real. I'm sure a lot of the parents are asking the kids, where you going or what you're going to be doing. And sometimes the kids they say they're here, but then they go somewhere else.
My daughter got to wear her Apple Watch. I can track her on the Find. I know exactly where my daughter at right now. I can literally pull up my daughter right now, make sure she is at school. If I text her, she better text back within the next 3 minutes. We got code words just in case certain things that happen. We got strategies of exactly how it is that you're supposed to be moving. I know exactly where my daughter is right now. Right now. I'm looking at her in school right now, and it cross-references the different devices that she has to make sure that they all in one spot. Your book bag, your app, your MacBook, your iPad, your Apple Watch, and your phone all better be in the same place where you were supposed to be when I'm seeing it. And you better be there on time. What the hell y'all talking about? What we talking about? I know where all of my people are. I know exactly where my people are at all times. At all times. I don't miss. I check multiple times throughout the day to make sure that she's safe. Now, of course, I trust my daughter to do the right thing because I taught her. But at the same time, I need to make sure that you're safe and that you're not caught up in something that you're not supposed to be in. That's what's called parenting.
Her son was one of 2 that got shot Saturday. Both survived. She says her high school sophomore was trying to get...
Quinn said if she in school paying attention, she ain't texting in 3 minutes. Yes, she is. That's why she got an Apple Watch. That's why she got an Apple Watch. She will respond immediately. My daughter responds immediately. Because I don't text her that often, but when I text her, she better not miss. I'm gonna be like, what's going on? What was you doing? That's why she don't need her phone. She lit her phone inside of her book bag. She wear an Apple Watch, and she can get in touch with me at any time.
Out of downtown when this happened.
He didn't know that he was actually hit until like a officer came and tapped him on the shoulder.
As for after-school programs, activities outside of class, she says her son's already involved. He has no criminal background, just wanted to enjoy his city on an unseasonably warm April day.
No.
Even the kids that's in programs, like, is that what they supposed to do for like the rest of their life? They don't get to enjoy the city that they live in?
Nope. You don't get to enjoy it. Nope. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200 if you want to enjoy it. If you want to enjoy something, you're going to do it at reasonable hours. You're not going to be out there with the mob. You're going to find something to do productive, and it's going to be warm all year round. One thing that I learned in the city, and everybody in Detroit knows this, is that the first time that it starts getting warm, we already know that the bodies is going to start piling up because people can't control themselves.
That's the question. And this mom told us she doesn't even let her kid walk around his own neighborhood during the day, which added to her decision to let him go to a populated place here downtown. Now, we will give you more information on what we see as plans in the future. But as for previous takeovers, that mom tells us she saw the post on social media, and those times she didn't let him go. This time she didn't see those.
I'm not going for it. And I think that we need to start holding the parents responsible for the actions of the children. I believe in my heart that we need to start holding the parents responsible for the actions of their children. Otherwise, who's going to be accountable? And why would the cops stop in order to put their life on the line for kids that don't give a fuck about them? Let's continue, because it's your turn, Chicago. It's your turn, Chicago. Actually, you know what? Let's forego that one. Let's do this one. Reading Super Chat shortly. Thank you, Levi Apparel.
Even before all of this unfolded, my concerns about the DNC coming to the city of Chicago was going to be, how do we keep people safe?
A lot of questions are being asked in the wake of last weekend's violence downtown. And even more now because social media posts now promise part 2 this weekend.
At least one Southside politician is defending the disruptions as a political statement. Others are demanding deployment of more police.
Political editor Mike Flannery reports.
Last weekend's downtown violence included assaults, armed robberies, the looting of a Walgreens on State Street, and attacks on police who intervened.
They were throwing bottles and rocks at police. They were outnumbered. They were being punched and kicked by some in the crowd.
As new posts on social media call for more trouble next weekend, Brian Hopkins wants the organizers identified and prosecuted. He sees it as vital preparation for next year's Democratic National Convention, scheduled to convene in just 16 months.
If we have that convention and violence is allowed to reign on our streets once again, we can't afford to take that chance.
Some defended those involved in last weekend's events. For example, Southside State Senator Robert Peters tweeted, "I would look at the behavior of young people as a political act and statement. It's a mass protest against poverty and segregation."
Let me rewind that really quickly. Look at this shit. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this statement. Let's read it out loud for the back of the class. I'm the type of person that's gonna make the kid that's the dumbest that always sit in the back come to the front of the class, stand up, and read in front of everybody. I would look, sir. It's look. I would look at the behavior of young people as a political, sir. It's political. Man, why you always calling on me to read? Because you don't like to read at home. So we gonna bring shaming back until you put more effort and not looking stupid in the front of the class. You gonna be reading in the front of the class. Political act and statement. Sound it out. Statement? No. ATE. What does ATE spell? 8? Yes. Now put the ST in front of it. State? There you go. Okay, now what's the second word? Let's break it up into 2 syllables. It's 2 syllables. You leave the first part out. Meant. Okay, now put it together. Statement. Everybody give him a round of applause. All right, you got one more sentence to go. Oh, Mr. Daniels. Yes, we going to read this whole statement. We going to get the whole statement out today. Okay, statement is, I'm going to be a different type of teacher if I was a teacher. We bringing shaming back. We bringing shaming back to the classroom. It's no longer going to be you just get to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And if you it's your turn, Chicago. Listen, you didn't want your father to raise him. You kicked him out of the house. You opened your legs up to a dude that didn't want to have kids. And this is what we're going to be dealing with inside of our classrooms. We got to slow the whole classroom down just to teach them how to sound out their words more effectively. But listen to this Robert Peters, right? Robert Peters says, I would look at the behavior of young people as a political act and statement. It's a mass protest against poverty and segregation. This is how they keep y'all on the Democratic plantation. Okay.
The 15th Ward's Ray Lopez worries that the violence threatens to cost tens of thousands of jobs at Chicago's biggest employer, the tourism and hospitality industry.
But we have to put an end to this, and I hope that my colleagues stand up and let our mayor-elect and his choice for superintendent know that this is a priority that must be dealt with swiftly and correctly.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson plans to speak to lawmakers.
Shout out to Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson. This is my prediction for Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson will probably not even make it a full term. Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson, this is my prediction. I predict Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson, I'm going to read Super Chat shortly. I predict that Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson will do a worse job than Lori Lightfoot. Now, I know that that's a tall order. I know that that's a tall order. I know that it's a lot of Chicagoans that's moving, trying to get down to Atlanta, Houston. You trying to go over into Texas. You trying to get over to Arizona. Some of y'all trying to get to Florida. You wanted to go to Miami, but you can't really afford it, so you're going to go to Jacksonville. I know a lot of y'all is running and running and running, but the thing is, you're still taking you with you. And I believe that Mayor-elect Johnson will do I predict that Mayor-elect Johnson is going to do a worse job than Lori Lightfoot.
Makers at the state capitol tomorrow, but he's likely to face questions as well about his plans for dealing with downtown violence and its threat to the state's economy.
Right now, local business owners say enough's enough after teens swarmed the Loop again this weekend. In the middle of the chaos, 2 teenagers were shot. CBS 2's Dana Kozlov asking Mayor Lightfoot and soon-to-be Mayor Brandon Johnson what's the plan moving forward.
But first, Sharday Gray. And Sharday, you spoke with business owners who worry customers will stop coming.
Exactly, Joe and Erica. And it was right here when gunshots went off and people scattered. We spoke to 2 business managers who say they saw the fear on teens' faces who went running.
I feel at this time, this is a warning to us.
A warning that we've seen time and time again.
If we don't react soon with a solid plan and something that's good for everybody, but it's got to.
No, not good for everybody. We need to hold the parents accountable. We need to get rid of the riffraff, and we need to do the thing that's going to be in the best interest of the people, which is prosecute.
Be something that's safe.
Safety is Kelly Hoxie, managing partner at Remington's, #1 concern for his customers and staff. Saturday night, 2 teens were shot after hundreds took over parts of the Loop. Cell phone video shows them jumping on a CTA bus. Another captures when a gunshot goes off. Hoxie saw the chaos all unfold. He says it started out peaceful.
I said, could you please not be here? This is private property. And most of them, they were good. But when everybody gets together and that buzz starts going, and then people start getting wild up, it just seems like everything turns.
Let me tell you what this man is trying to do right now. He's trying to say the right thing so he don't get canceled. This man is trying to say the right thing so he don't get canceled. Ain't no most of them is good. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. He trying to say the right thing. Listen, white man. Let me say what you really want to say. These niggas and these little demons. And when they get together, they start influencing each other. And next thing you know, gunshots rang out and they messing up all of the money. I'm trying to run a business. I didn't put my whole life savings into this. What are we supposed to do? My customers don't want to come out. I'm going to have to go ahead and leave. A lot of businesses, what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of businesses are leaving these liberal cities just like Walmart did, and they leave in Chicago. They're not standing for it. They're not going for it no more. If they can't, I'll do you one better. A lot of businesses are hoping that these kids bail them out. Now, what does that look like, right? What is hoping that the kids bail them out? It means that a lot of these businesses are hoping that these kids tear up their own city, tear up their own neighborhood, and tear up their business too. You know why? So that they can get the insurance payout and then they can move to somebody or somewhere that's actually conducive for what it is that they're trying to build for the communities. They get that insurance pay. When you tear up your own neighborhood, when you burn down your own grocery stores, when you tear up the cars and all of that other type of stuff, somebody said, Anton, what would you do if they kicked your Lambo? Nothing. Say, listen, if you're going to do it, then do the whole thing. Listen, if you're going to steal my car, then don't bring it back because I don't want to get it repaired. I'm not interested. We're going to call insurance. I got full coverage. We're going to get the whole thing taken care of. And I don't want the car no more. Once you done sat your fat ass in it, I don't want the car no more. Once you done sat your stinking, I'm not washing butt up inside of it with your stinking breath and you tore it up. Listen, if you're going to tear my junk up, then tear the whole thing up so I can go ahead and get my payout and get it. That's the same thing that the businesses are saying. The businesses are saying, listen, if you're going to come in here tear it up, because I'm tired of dealing with these monkeys coming inside of my business, hanging off the chandeliers and tearing everything down. That's what Walmart did. Walmart said, it's enough, is enough. We're not even going to prosecute you. We just going to get on up out of here. We tired, boss. We's tired, boss.
Jesus Del Valle, manager of Cantina on Madison, also saw people running.
From nowhere, we saw one of the groups of the kids that start fighting right on the corner here on the alley. And then out of nowhere, we just heard like gunshots.
That's.
Come on, Jesus. I know y'all might like to change the pronunciation in order to try to justify naming your son Jesus. Y'all want to say Jesus? No, it's not Jesus. They named him Jesus. Jesus Shuttlesworth. And Jesus, I'm gonna need you to learn some English too while you at it over here. Becoming a manager. You can't be a manager in the United States of America running an establishment. Well, I guess you can do whatever you want to do. We getting away with everything here in America anyway. We letting all of the people inside of the insane asylum run the institution anyway. Go ahead, Jesus.
That's when he locked the doors, and the restaurant quickly became a safe haven.
A lot of the customers that were in here, they decided to stay here because it wasn't safe out there.
It wasn't okay.
We saw police running back and forth, trying to like chasing the kids who they thought they have the gun on it, but it wasn't scary.
We're not dealing with it no more. We're not dealing with it no more. I agree, Jamal Fowler, and I'm about to read super chats. Where is Roland Martin and Boyce in them at? And where is Umar Johnson? And where is Umar Johnson? And I don't want nobody else that's named Jesus and then pronounce it Jesus. You can't just pronounce it the way that you want it. Y'all gonna have to stop telling me pronounce my name this way. No, I'm gonna pronounce it the same way it's spelled. If you want to be named Jesus, then change it to HAYSUES. HAY. I'm gonna type it in the chat for the people and before we read the super chat. This is how you spell Jesus. Like Dr. Seuss. It's Jesus, like that. If you over here in America, unless your name is spelled like that, I'm not pronouncing it. If I see Jesus, I'm going to say, oh, you wanted to name your son Jesus. That's what you wanted to do. You wanted to name your son Jesus. Now, unless you pronouncing it like this, unless you spell it like that, I'm not calling you that. I'm going to call you what I first seen the name in the Bible. Just like Dr. Seuss, Jesus. All right. Let me read some super chats. Jose? No, it's Joe's. It's not Jose. It's spelled Joe's. You're not going to sit here and change the way that these words are pronounced. You're not going to change the way that the words is pronounced. It's spelled Joe's. That's not Jose. That's not Jose. That's Joe's to me. All right? Since we all ain't reading right today. Oh, man. Let's read these super chats and let's get it popping. Bert says Lester is 5 years younger than Emmett Till's accuser. Shout out to Bert with the 2-ball. Self-Made Forever says, Anton, did you ever speak on that Alabama? Is that Alabama party? 4 kids deleted, 30 kids shot. No, send that to me, Self-Made Forever. Email it to me, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. Adriana Diaz would be a good interview, Pookie Gate. I'm not being phonetically lazy. I know how to spell phonetic. I know how to pronounce phonetic. All right? Just like ADOS FBAs do. Just like their white creators. Enos Luby says, oh, yeah, I got that one. Shout out to you. Spacer says, my boy got him an almond milk of magnesia. Cliff Williams says Anton looking like Kenny from South Park. Where's my thing at? There's my shout out to Trust Me Vodka is in the building. Let me finish reading these egregious super chats. Elo says, and you wonder why Walmart left. Shit. Like my boy used to say on the wire, shit. Spaces in the building says, we don't throw straws and paper, we throw people. Tia Marie is in the building with the fireball, says, you can't disrespect the Red Wings Bear shirt. Shout out to the Tupac Bear. Y'all know nothing about the Tupac Bears in the building. Self-Made Forever says, Anton, that's the Chicago. That's that Chicago uniform that gets a lot of young black women pregnant. If you're not wearing that uniform, you'll be labeled a lame and become a stepdad. Facts. JMO 2019 says, we are influenced as blacks to be at the bottom of the barrel. I teach my son that he's not a victim. He's a victor. Levi Apparel is in the building, says, you're right, Anton. Got 5 kids. You have to stay on top. Ash is in the building with the 20 ball. Anton, this is why I left Chicago over 25 years ago. Ninjas are forever ignorant. The mayor-elect is 10 times worse than Beetlejuice. Worse than Lori Lightfoot? This is why I will never support pro-blacks, white supremacy talking points. Pro-black and white supremacy is literally one and the same. They're the yin and the yang, and they go together like glue. Pro-blacks and white supremacy is one and the same. They are the yin and the yang of each other, and one can't exist without the other. And so if you ever want to really lean into white supremacy, all you got to do is tap into people that identify themselves as pro-black. Maybe I'll break that down one day for y'all. Shout out to my dog Ash, says, ninjas, shut up, stop protesting, and get a job. Just be too busy having all this time on their hands. Chike Odo LLC says, the parent need parenting too. She sounds like a child trying to excuse her bad decision. She should thank God that her son is still alive. I agree. Elliot Jackson in the building says, 28 with no kids. This make me want to go 28 more. This make me want to go 28 more. Shout out to Elliot Jackson. Foster Scott is in the building, says, you should teach English next year. Nope. I'm not about to have these kids sounding out their words. I'm a thug from Chicago right now anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Shout out to my Chicagoans. Forsaken Archives is in the building, says, you would be a dope special ed teacher. Students need a stand-up man in schools. Not me. Not me. You're not about to have me up here beating up these kids. Oh, we're going to address that tomorrow. Rita sent me the clip of the woman that was fighting that kid and beat the brakes off of her, and they fired the teacher. But we're going to deal with that tomorrow. Shout out to you. Was that Mommy 3 Love or side reading? Aaron says my 3-year-old is reading at the first grade, second grade. No, Aaron, listen. You don't get to absolve yourself. And the reason you don't get to absolve yourself, Aaron, is because you are a heavy supporter of Chicago. And so because you're from Chicago and because you're a heavy supporter of Chicago, Aaron, you got to hold this L. Hold this L, big dog. Lamar Black Attack says, too damn funny. Chester is in the building, says, all I know is all the Pookies trying to come to D.C., and especially here in PG, are getting priced all the way out here. Get that dollar bill, y'all. Forsaken Archive says, I can't say what I want to say because YouTube is blocking it, but it has to do with mace and a baton. Ron Unruly says, do that in Texas and your ass is grass. I don't know, you can get away with it in Houston. Jawan Hart says, we need a squadron of OG Big Mamas armed with belt switches, extension cords, paddles, and baby oil to descend on Chicago immediately. It's too late. It's too late. Bro, you need a paddy wagon in Chicago. Because once they get past a certain age, you can only instill that in them when they're young. They need a paddy wagon. Real talk. Cliff Williams in the building says, Antoine, why you effing with the Mexicans? Adonis says, Josue. Big Boy 5218 says, much respect, big dog. Emailed you twice. Please get back to me when you can. Show on point as always. Rita, make sure you get Big Boy 5218 on a priority list of getting his email answered. Grace is in the building, says, good morning, Anton. Sorry for misspelling your name. Grace, I love you. And I love your name, Grace. I love your name, Grace. What up, though? All right. Ray said baby oil. Ray don't understand black culture over here. Listen, you put that baby oil on them so that they can slip and fall in the bathroom when you whooping their ass and they can't really get up. and it leave more marks. Shout out to Ray Meister. Shout out to all of the super chats. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. I don't want to address that one. Let's address this one. So, a lot of you are not familiar with this woman. And I wouldn't expect you to be familiar with this woman. All right. Hold on. Let me just make sure that I'm addressing this correctly. Oh, no. I don't want to talk about her. I'm going to use her tomorrow. I'm going to come to her tomorrow. I'm coming to her tomorrow. Where is my... All right, this is what I want to talk to. I want to get to the money. Because that is an egregious story, but I want to get to the money. I want to leave y'all with something of substance, of value, something that you guys can really appreciate. This recently came out on CNBC's Make It, and I love reacting to and looking at different people's budgets so we can evaluate whether or not we need to make a different decision once you get to that bag. Shout out to all of the new bag chasers. I appreciate y'all. Link is in the description as well as getting to the top of the chat. Yeah, Margaret Cho. We're going to deal with Margaret Cho tomorrow. I got you. Don't worry about it. She's on the chopping block for tomorrow. But I want to talk about this. Living off $130,000 in Nashville. So a lot of people move into a lot of these states, right? And a lot of people are moving to states specifically that does not have an income tax, right? So if you move to Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Arizona, it's a lot of different states that don't have an income tax, but they do make up their revenue in a completely different way. But we're going to get into that. Let's go ahead and play the video. I have not seen this at all. I do not know exactly what it is that she does for a living. I just seen the cover photo. I seen that they released it yesterday. So I wanted to address this and see it because I want to know what she does for a living and where she makes her money. So get the likes up, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Let's get it popping, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like I've...
A flexible white woman. It's nothing like a flexible white woman. Right up Chaotic's alley. Right up Chaotic's alley, y'all.
Kind of lived the upside down version of the American dream. I saw this opportunity of doing something different and thought, well, why not just try this and see where it takes me? I've been a performer now for actually 10 years, which is crazy. I'm Marissa Kelly, I'm 28 years old. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I brought in around $130,000 last year as a foot archer.
You know, this reminds me of, and I use this example on a regular basis. This reminds me of those shows, again, that me and Rita used to watch, because we used to watch a few different shows at night back in the early 2000s when we first got married. And one of the shows we used to watch was House Hunters. I don't even know if House Hunters is still come on, but House Hunters, it would be House Hunters, it would be House Hunters International, and it would be like House Hunters where they're trying to find a place next to the beach. And the people would be on there and they would be like, well, what do you do for, what kind of house are y'all? What's your budget and what do you do for a living? And he'd be like, hey, my name is Jason and my name is Kelly and I'm a beekeeper and I'm a planter. And we together make $750,000 a year. And we're looking for a house that costs $5 million. Like, what the fuck? She's a foot archer. She's a foot archer. I've never heard of a foot archer a day in my life. I've never heard of a foot archer a day in my life. But let's continue. And she make $130,000 a year. How do you make $130,000 a year as a foot archer?
A foot archer, I guess it didn't really exist until recently, but I basically shoot flaming arrows with my feet in handstand, and I perform that for a living. My act involves me doing a variety of acrobatic trick shots, handstands, and contortion, and I get to go around.
Let me blow that up.
around the world and enjoy myself. Last year, I actually did over 130 flights, traveling across the US and the rest of the world. I do events, I do NBA halftime shows.
How many people was interested in busting down a foot archer? You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, next time you run into a chick and she tell you she a foot archer, that just means that she flexible.
I do TV shows, stunts for films. I definitely don't work in an office, but I take my job as seriously as possible. I just have a lot of fun whilst I'm doing it, and I hope that I can show that there is a value in being a performer. I'm originally from the UK, and in 2020, I moved to the USA.
She's kind of thick, too. Now, she not that fat thick. You know what I'm saying? A lot of chicks like to say they thick in all of the right places. No, you just got a BBL, and you're not big-boned. Your bones don't have any more density than anybody else's. But that fit thick.
And ended up in Nashville. One day, I was meant to get on my flight home to London, and I realized I see a really big opportunity for my career here, so I just didn't get on that flight home. Immediately from that moment on, I decided, this is it, I want to live in the US.
This is about the money. I'm trying to get to the budget, but they keep doing all of these fucking flexible poses. And what am I supposed to do? Y'all be acting like just... Why would they show that? Why would they... Why would CNBC's Make It Money show us this? Why are they doing this? Huh? Why is this a necessary B-roll footage in order for us to see, in order to understand what this chick do for a living? They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. They're not going to finesse me.
And my career has just blown up
Look,
since.
look.
It's called 30 flights, traveling across the US and the rest of the world.
Oh, did I mess that up?
Events, I do my career here, so I just didn't get on that flight home. Immediately from that moment on, I decided, this is it, I want to live in the US, and my career has just blown up since.
It's cold today. When it's cold, the boat doesn't want to bend.
She charged $2,500 to $5,000 a show. This chick making rapper money. This chick is making rapper. This is a lot of what these rappers be making on the chitlin circuit. A lot of rappers don't make no money, but I got you.
A bit like me.
Maybe people think, oh, she's just going on stage for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but they don't see what goes on behind that. The physical requirements to do what I do are obviously quite demanding. My goal for what I do is to make it look easy. You don't want to watch someone struggling on stage.
It's a real hunting bow. It's very powerful. Actually, it's 30 pounds, so that's tough.
I train up to 6 hours a day, and I'm always doing admin, sending emails, marketing myself.
A lot of people don't understand that. I feel this, right? And I can actually rock with this. And this is a really good business lesson. A lot of people don't understand that by the time that you get on camera or you get on stage or you start doing what you're doing. That's why a lot of people don't realize that YouTube is a lot harder, way harder than people think. And so a lot of times they'll see you get on camera or they'll see you start to do what you do, but they don't really realize the hours and the days and the nights that you've went through refining and mastering your craft and the life experiences that you've gleaned in order to be able to have these conversations in the first place. When I get on here and I start talking about money or I start talking about resources or opening up a business or S-Corps versus LLCs and sole proprietorships and how it is that you need to structure your business and how to market yourself more effectively. And even when it comes to my ability to be able to communicate effectively or resonate with people or talk about relationships or marriage or whatever, I've lived it and I document the journey, which means that I put in my 10,000 hours. And by the time that you finally get to have a conversation with me, whether you want a coaching call or you starting to take in the content that's on a Patreon or whatever like that, you're getting a finished product, right? That half hour, 1 hour that I spend nurturing and pouring into you or whatever, I had to live a lifetime in order to master that. And that's why I always say, I don't understand how people just wake up and say, I want to be a life coach. No, you need to live life, right? By the time you get the final product on the NBA floor, you don't really know that they've been putting up 1,000 jump shots a day, and they in a gym, and they train, and they mastering their craft. That's why I don't understand that people that really say that they want to take whatever it is that they want to do seriously, they really don't, because if you're not putting in the amount of effort, and even when it comes to opening up your business, and I think that this is actually a really good lesson. When it comes to opening up your business and stuff like that, don't sit here and tell me about how you want to be successful, but you're not willing to put in the work. You're not willing to work it as a second job. You're not willing to master your craft. You're not willing to put 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day into it. You're not willing to go to school full time while you're working a full-time job. You're not willing to sacrifice getting some pussy or going out and hanging out with your buddies in order to continue to build your business or do your website or whatever it is that you're supposed to do. Because by the time you get to see the finished product, even with Kevin Samuels, people don't know what Kev did. Like, and again, same thing that I was saying earlier in the stream, Kev would leave up a lot of his old videos because he wanted you to see the progress that he's made by the time that he then blew up and went viral on World Star Hip Hop and Instagram and YouTube. He was already a polished product. By the time you see some of these comedians get on stage and you think that you're gonna roast them, man, they done been booed off stage so many times. They know how to overcome objection. She's spending the majority of her time marketing herself, sending out emails. She's doing cold calls. That's what cold calling is. A lot of y'all say that y'all don't like sales. Okay, well, you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't understand what sales is and marketing is, which one of the things that I actually shared inside of the Patreon, I did it in the webinar. If you don't know how to sell yourself, you can be the greatest person in the world, and it's not going to translate into anything.
They are real mirrors. Look how pointy, like that one, like that in my butt. It's really painful. Another expense that I have very regularly is pedicures and nails too.
I'm reading super chat shortly.
As a foot archer, actually pedicures could technically come under a business expense. I like to use that as an excuse to get.
A lot of people don't really understand what tying your lifestyle, the things that you're passionate about, back into the business, right? So that you can legally get it written off, right? If I'm flying out here to take care of business for a conference, if you get a coaching call from me, that is you actually being able to write that off from a business perspective, depending on what it is that we're talking about, right? Personal development. If I fly out here to Vegas in order to shoot content, I've been shooting long form content, right? I've been renting certain things in order to get certain things on camera and get experiences. The equipment that I wind up buying and using in order to continue to build up the platform. This camera that I'm talking to you right now on, the gimbal, the computer that I edit things on, all of that stuff is a business expense. But I'm not going to deep dive into it any further than that because that's Patreon level game that you guys are just going to have to join the Bag Chasers in order to get for us to be able to deep dive into that. But ultimately, what she's basically saying is that she's tying the thing that she's passionate about into what it is that she does from a business perspective in order to justify it from an expense. You might fly out to Vegas to go and have fun. I'm flying out to Vegas in order to record content. It's two different ways in which we're going to account for it, and you're going to pay 10 times more than me because from a tax perspective, the IRS love business owners. But let's continue.
As many as possible. I guess you could say maybe I'm a bit reckless with my spending, but I see it as living in the moment just as much as living for the future. I'm an athlete. I like to spend money on food, okay? I don't cook, so I just have no desire to sit at home and make meals. I think that...
What's up with all of these women that don't cook? I'm just curious. What is that a modern thing that women just don't care about cooking anymore? All right, $20 on subscriptions, $53 for discretionary, $96 for the phone, $280 for insurance, housing and utilities only $300. That's because she lives on the road. Housing and utilities only $300. That means that she has no home, or she probably just uses or stays with somebody else in order to store her stuff there. But if she's living on a plane, then that means that she can then eliminate what goes along with housing and utility costs. A lot of people are not being smart, which it looks like she's incredibly smart. But a lot of people are not being smart. And let me tell you why. Because society has programmed you to live the American dream. So you feel like you have to have a house, or you got to have a big house, or you got to have a house that reaches up to this percentage of your budget or whatever like that. When in reality, if you cut the costs, you're then able to invest more in cultural experiences and your business, which then can accumulate assets, which means that your net worth go up. And so because her costs are little, because she doesn't have to actually live a certain lifestyle in order to maintain appearances for you guys, she lives on the road, then that means that she can cut her housing and utilities, I'm assuming, because she hasn't actually went into that aspect of the video yet. But transportation, $571, and food, $1110. She's only spending $30,000 a year in her personal expenses. But this is just January 2023. Personal expenses, she's only spending $25,000 or $30,000 a year, a little less than $30,000 a year. But she makes $150,000 a year. So I'm assuming that a large portion of it goes to business expenses, and then another portion of it goes into, I don't see savings or anything like that. Let me watch some more of this video.
Spending money on food is a big habit of mine, and it's probably not a great habit, but you know, I have so many nice experiences either meeting people or hanging out with my friends that I don't regret it.
I told you. She eliminated all of her costs because there's no point in her having a home just for the sake of having a home, which then comes along with additional costs such as property taxes, even though you're living in Nashville from an income perspective. She's eliminating the thing that Nashville, for example, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, all of these states make up the majority of their revenue as a result of property taxes, which is higher than in states where they're actually taking income taxes out of your check. So if you're going to live somewhere like Tennessee or Nashville, or Nashville inside of anywhere inside of Tennessee or whatever like that, then that means that the best way for you to really leverage what the incentives in a state has for you to live there is to reduce the amount that you're spending on housing. This girl is smart. Smart. She's eliminating the cost because she's never even really home. Anton, why do you own the places that you rent out to other people? And then why do you live and rent where you stay? Well, A, there's business reasons for that, but you're going to have to join a Patreon in order to get that game. But B, I don't even plan on being in a house or really having a home at all that I'm staying in once my daughter reaches a certain type of age, because I will be traveling, documenting, blogging, and where I lay my head is where I'll, wherever it is that I'm a rock with. And so because I have an office, because I have certain spaces that I own, that I also rent from a business perspective, we'll just use that as storage and we'll just travel the world year round. So I got a whole plan for how it is that I'm gonna live my life. But I like how she's thinking. She thinks differently than the general public or the general population that's been sold the idea that you have to have a place to stay, you have to have a home, you have to have a whole apartment, you have to have a mortgage. It's stupid. You don't have to have any of that.
I always put in 20% of everything I make. I don't even see that money. It's gone straight into my savings.
Now, the problem, though, is that savings is not beating the rate of inflation, right? She needs to have it in investments that's then compounding the amount of money that she's making. Otherwise, she's just going to lose money every single year. But I like the fact that she don't even see the 20%. And she probably has more than just savings. She probably wires some of that money from savings over into other investments that then make money for her over time. She just keeps a portion of it in savings.
One of the things I wish I knew when I moved to America was how expensive healthcare is. I will do anything I can to wait to go back to the UK to resolve any medical issues. And in some cases, it's actually cheaper to buy a flight the next day to England to get this resolved than it is to go through my insurance, which is just crazy. I actually grew up in a very poor area and my parents had no money. So actually when I was 12 years old, my dad passed away very suddenly. Then we went from being poor to really, really poor because my mum was actually raising 3 kids on her own and all 3 kids were under 18. And she had to get 3 different jobs just to pay for us to be able to eat. From then on, it was very clear that life is short. And my mum, instead of saying, go get a solid job where you know how much money you're gonna make, you're gonna be secure, she was absolutely adamant, do what you love because life is short. I've been in gymnastics since the age of 3. After about 15 years of that, I was like, I can't just stop. I can't just do something that's not physical anymore. And I decided, why be the best in the world when you could be the only one? Be so different that no one else even compares to you.
She's learned how to market herself more effectively instead of using her circumstances in order to say, well, I didn't have anything, or I was poor, or we was really, really poor, or we didn't have a father, or I'm from a different country, and all of that other type of stuff. She worked her ass off, and she learned how to market herself so that she can then make money and live the life that she want to live.
So I came up with this crazy idea. I bought a bow and arrow. I went to a cricket field, which is like a baseball field, and I just taught myself. I trained 6 hours a day, every single day for 6 months until I hit my target.
I went all the way in. I actually pushed the wick back.
What people don't realize is that more than the physical training is the mental training that I.
Before you can ever become successful at anything, honestly, you got to believe that you can do it. You have to completely recondition with how it is that you see life. Because that's why they say faith without works is dead. Because you can say anything that you want to say, but it usually translates into your actions. Whatever it is that you think, the Bible even say that sin happens within your mind before it actually takes place, right? And so you was thinking it, you were programming yourself. And that's why I don't even ever subject myself to the idea that when people say I'm poor, or, I don't have anything, or the government sold us out, or we're less than. I don't let that negative talk ever even come in my sphere. I don't be around people that's negative. I don't be around people that run in the Victim Olympics because I know that they've already been self-defeated and they're teaching themselves to be poor, teaching themselves to always be a victim. They will never be anything because they already got it in their mind and they can't be anything other than whatever their current circumstances are.
I had to go through. If you're nervous and you're shaking, that's gonna transfer along the bow, along the arrow, and I'm gonna miss my target. In the early days, that was a real problem. How do you get over your nerves? Well, you have to go on stage and work through that. So for the first
I literally just told y'all that about being a content creator.
year, I struggled. There was definitely some failures, but when you fail so much publicly, you become so focused and so strong and so determined. I still get nervous when I go on stage, and if I didn't, maybe I don't care enough. So I'm glad I do, but now I just know how to control my nerves and how to use them to help me. And
everybody think that failure is a bad thing. I don't know anybody that hasn't failed in order to be successful, right? For every 5 businesses that I had first started, for every 10 businesses, let's go all the way in, right? For every great idea or for every failure that I've had, let's say you got a 5% success rate, right? You're refining what it is that you learn from other experiences in order to then leverage that to become successful later. Failure is not a bad thing. Your mindset behind why you failed or what you're going to do afterwards, right? Life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it. That's what my father taught me. That's the determining factor for whether or not you're going to be successful.
as soon as that music comes on. I'm ready to go. Some of the biggest challenges of my job is the instability. Being self-employed is not easy. It takes a lot of courage. We don't know when we're gonna have gigs. We might have a month of amazing work and then 3 months of nothing. And that takes someone who's really brave to commit to that. The way I found to tackle that is by really working on creating content and boosting my social media. So now that's become another form of revenue.
I don't see any missteps that this chick has made. This chick has been on top of everything. Usually I have something to criticize or something to break down outside of the idea of just having, savings. I don't see anything off about what she's saying. She's keeping her costs low, which means that she don't have to do dumb shit in order to be able to make ends meet. She's learning how to market herself effectively. She's a sales guru. She goes all in on her craft. She understands how to fail forward. Her budget keeps it at a minimum to where she don't have to make sure that she's living a certain lifestyle for other people. And she's doing what she want to do. She work her ass off and she do what she want to do. She's smart as piss.
So when I don't perform as much, I'm pushing out content, I'm making ebooks, I'm making courses, and finding ways to provide another income. I actually managed to build over 1 million followers just on TikTok alone in 1 year. And that had a huge impact on the amount that I was being booked, and I had many requests for merchandise. So the things that I settled on were signed arrows, a signed calendar, and signed prints. You can pay an extra, I think, couple of bucks to have them sealed with a kiss. My income is unstable, and that can be stressful, but it feels like the gigs come much slower the more I worry about it. So I try and be very relaxed and just trust my career that people are gonna book me. I'm definitely not nervous or anxious that I'm not gonna be able to do this job forever. It's a reality. I don't want to be performing upside down, bending in half forever. So as my foot archery career slows down, I will be focusing on more online ways to make money. And honestly, who knows where it's gonna take me? And I'm always open to new and exciting opportunities.
I like what she got going on. I think she's figured it out. One of the rare people that I don't necessarily have any kind of criticism for, because I think that she's absolutely awesome with regard to how she's learned how to market herself and putting in her time and managing her budget effectively. So that's absolutely dope. I love this one. This was a good one. Royce J says, for reading my comment, that's why I rock with you. Make that move to Florida, boy. That's where Rita want to go. Rita is determined to move to where, Rita? Miami. Rita want to move to Miami. I don't know about that, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know about that. Rita want to move to Miami. I don't know about that.
Or somewhere warm.
Rita want to move to Miami. I don't know about that.
So you can rock.
You saw me on robbing people? Yeah. On a live stream? That's because I was from Chicago. That's the only reason I was robbing people. You see the glare now? Look at the sun. Look at Vegas. Look at Vegas. I see you, Vegas. I see you, Vegas, and look at Vegas. I see you, Vegas, and look at Vegas. We right here next to the Vidara. Right next to the sign of Vidara. We on the top floor. Top floor is the 56th floor. People keep asking me, how is it up there? Don't worry about it, baby girl. You want to come and see my room? That's when my wife not here. Shh. What you in for? What you in for? She didn't hear me. Don't worry about it, y'all. Elo says, bust it open for a real one. Brock with the Pass of Love offering. Thank you, Brock, for the fireball. Bitcoin Brown is in the building. Says, I've been wondering about this whole time. How much of your Vegas trip are you going to be able to write off? You can't be asking me that on the live stream. Chike Auto LLC says, I see a mistake, Anton. She's supposed to have kids out of wedlock and 7 baby daddies. That's because she ain't ran into that real one, busting it down for a real one, saying, hey, baby, listen, I need you to be a housewife. I need to turn you from a hoe into a housewife. You know what I'm saying? She ain't busted down for a real one. Let me go back to that original comment. Hold on. Wait. Can't be asking me that on a live stream. That's a Patreon only question. Bitcoin Brown, that is a Patreon only question. How much of this trip you think this trip cost me, Rita? All encompassing, if you had to guess, how much you think this trip cost me?
Maybe 10,000.
You think I spent $10,000 on this trip?
Yeah.
That's probably accurate. It's probably accurate. I probably spent about $10,000 on this trip specifically to Vegas alone. I would say that almost all of this entire trip, almost all of it, right? Because Rita did some personal shopping. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to write off the personal shopping. Yeah, almost all of it. Rental cars, flights, anything I spent at the hotel, meals and entertainment, anything I needed to buy in order to shoot additional content, experiences, stuff that I'm recording for the vlog and the content. Everything is a business expense because we're using it in order to make more money. Hopefully we look using it to make more money because I am a content creator, right? So pretty much all of it should be able to get written off, right? Yeah, man. So it's been an awesome trip. I will be seeing you guys in the studio tomorrow. It has been a great live stream. I will also say this. I have not lost. I did hit the tables. I took no L's. Not one time that I went to the table. Rita was tapping my pockets, trying to get all of the money out of me. I took no L's. I took 0 L's in Vegas, baby. We got all of the bags in Vegas. We came, we saw, we conquered. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I am going to absolutely be adding value into your life. And I'm going to be updating the Patreon and the post to give y'all the exact location of the meetup. Not just the city, but the exact location. Had to make sure that we didn't have no dusties trying to show up. But you know how I am. I'm protective of my people. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I need y'all to do me one more thing before we get up out of here. Thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. Please make sure that you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are absolutely the greatest of all time. Till tomorrow, we're getting back to it. First thing in the morning. No excuses. Let's get to this bag, y'all. Peace.